Yasuo has his work cut out for him. I'm gonna try not to openly root for my boy Hutch. I'm not openly rooting for anyone, but I'm definitely, if I was coaching, I've had a lot going on outside of the chess event this week, so I didn't get involved in the coaching. Thanks to you and everyone else for holding that down. But if I was coaching, Hutch would have been one of the guys I hope to add to Team Danny. So who knows?
Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense given your guys' history. And we have takeoff, Danny. The game is about to get started.
We do. It's Sean Hutchinson on the move as he goes now, D4,
I don't
and
know where
we have a
this
Queen's Gambit.
username
This is
Mellow's dad came from.
what?
Mellow's dad? I'm not sure how Yasuo got this name.
Yasuo. His room is interesting. It looks like a comfy bedspread.
Yeah,
Into that.
it's nice. It's a giant bed, almost as big as his entire room there.
Yeah.
And we see him setting up a Slav
Sto-
defense here. And whoa, F5 is pretty bold. What's your take on this, Danny?
now it's a Stonewall. Yeah, I jump back on that because that is an aggressive move, and the fact that he played it quickly tells me it's prep. So it's not necessarily bad. Everyone, we'll quickly describe it before we listen in. It's not a bad move, but it's very risky whenever you open up the light squares towards your king, and that's going to be the case whether the king stays put or goes over here. If Hutch can find the right idea, which would be to pry open the light squares, make a breakthrough in the center, there's a lot of potential problems when you make that kind of aggressive assertion early on. But let's listen in to Yasuo and see what he's thinking about the position, because we've got him on board, and see if he's describing.
To pin the knight, I attack pawn, I attack this piece. That's some ideas, but I think before I do any of that bullshit, I need to just focus on developing. So clearly my queen's under attack here. So what's the most comfortable position for my queen to be in, I guess, to me? Do I just retreat my queen defensively, like exact same way? Or where do I want to position my queen? Obviously this line is completely, it's done. So I think I want to put it like right here maybe, to just go here. Or I can just put my queen here. No, but the problem with that is then I won't be able to castle. So I'm going to put my queen over here actually. But does he have any defenses or attacks to my queen? I don't think so. I think queen here is good because I have these, I have these, I have these, I have these, I have everything for my queen here. So this is fine. I want to get my knight out and then I want to end up castling here. That's my goal.
Wow. It's not just that his ideas are logical, like the speed and repetition there, how quickly he's talking about key ideas. I'm impressed.
And then I have this type of piece. I have this move.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I was most impressed with him as well.
If he does a dumb move here, then I think I can possibly... I have tricks. Okay, let's move my knight here.
Wow.
Because if takes, and then I'm hitting both pieces. The only way he doesn't really lose a piece now is if he retreats his piece, but then I have a really nice square for my knight here the whole time, or he takes with bishop, and then I'm trading bishop for knight, which I think is worth in my opinion. So, I like this so far. This is what I practiced, this is what I prepared for.
My boy Hutch might be in trouble here. For a guy how is this guy rated 865?
Right, and do we still have his audio on, or
no,
off?
he's gone now. It's just us. Your thoughts on that?
This is what blew me away also. When he had been talking like this during our lesson, I thought, okay, this guy has been, playing chess as a kid or something. And then I asked him how long he played for. He said 3 weeks. And, I decided I'm done playing chess.
Wow. No, seriously.
He blew me away with that.
No, and not kidding. Jokes aside, and I think people might think that we're overhyping it, but the truth is, and White is still better here, but his structural understanding of kind of what to do, putting the knight in the center early, just knowing what he needs to do to get castle. This is kind of the ideal reasons you play F5. Earlier, everyone, I was highlighting the potential drawbacks on the light squares, but if you can get this kind of space rolling, you might have G5 and G4 and bring more pieces to this side of the board. This is a very double-edged position. Black has sacrificed the dark squares himself, but has a real stranglehold. And the thing about the way he's describing Alexander is like, he sounded experienced beyond 865. So it's not even about the rating, right? It's like the positional way he described that. I was very impressed with that.
Yeah, exactly. And he himself said he thinks he is higher rated in reality than his actual Chess.com ELO. And I see Gotham Chess in the chat, who also helped coach him. And he's saying that this was part of his prep. And you can also tell by how quickly he's played until now that he's very familiar. Maybe this is the point where he's out of opening theory.
Huh. Well, maybe he's smurfing it. Maybe he really is secretly much higher rated than he's telling all of us. And this whole thing is like like twist ending, rips it off. It's not Yassuo, it's Magnus Carlsen. The whole no, I'm kidding. But I mean,
The
I have no
final
idea.
revenge. The final
What?
revenge from El Magneto.
Oh, Magnus doesn't play on Chess.com. Forgot. Can't be that ending. Sorry. So he rips it off. It's Yun Nishi. My bad, everyone. But anyway, okay. Hutch castles. I was kind of hoping that Hutch might delay it a little bit and try to deal with the knight, meaning maybe move the knight from f3 to try to poke the pony. Never poke the pony at home, everyone. That can be very dangerous. But if you can do it safely under adult supervision, you can maybe get rid of that knight.
Poke the pony. All right,
Poke the
chat. We are
pony.
learning. We are learning from Dad Wrench.
No
And
animals were harmed during that reference. Do not worry.
fair enough. It looks like Yasuo is trying to close up the position. He moved b5, and it really tempts White into playing b4 here. Do you think a close position is in his favor, given that he's still the underdog here?
Yeah, because I think he's following some sort of advice, and maybe Levy will take credit for this. That's Gotham Chess in the chat. I think here's the advice that would be given to someone on a high level about this structure. What they would say is, White has a big space advantage over here, and they're going to attack over here. So if you can stop that attack, if you can close it up, that allows you to focus on this side of the board, which has already been led by the F-pawn, the whole Dutch idea that he went for. So I don't even know that b5 is the best move. I don't think it was. But I think that his high-level ideas are being made clear here. I think he clearly understands that if he can somehow lock it up, if he can lock up this side of the board, he knows he has the potential for a mating attack. And here we go. That's what Rook f6 is all about. He's going to do it. So I'm impressed, again, with Yasuo's approach, even if it's not objectively the best for Black.
Right. And speaking about objectively the best, it is intimidating for Hutch that he's bringing his rook here. But if you try to look in terms of follow-up, something like rook h6, I mean, it's putting pressure on h2, but h2 is defended, and Yasuo cannot bring his queen into the game. So they're kind of ghost threats.
Well, right now, right? But one of the ideas is if the structure remains and White hasn't done anything to undermine it, this is not what I was highlighting earlier. White really wanted e4. So if you don't do anything, the way the knight gets kicked is with a move like g5 and g4 coming. I mean, just to show everybody how dangerous this is. If you don't make high-level threats fast enough, at some point g5 and g4 come in, and when this knight has to move, here comes these kind of things. And the mating attack for Black would be very real. So again, that takes a little bit of cooperation. White didn't play the best moves, but just showing where this game could go, and that's what Yasuo wants. Look at the time.
Yeah, Hutch is sitting here, and I think you always see that when you think you're about to be attacked on the king side. So this is a critical position for him. He plays a great move. 95 is really nice here. I just wonder how he's going to react once Yasuo continues pushing his pawns on the king side.
Sorry, I was real proud of Hutch there. I gave the Sammy Sosa. That's my boy. Yeah, 95 is a great move because not only does it execute the dark squares, which are the biggest problem with White's pawn structure, but also it opens up the idea I've been calling for a while. The moment White gets f3 and e4, the game changes here. If Black does nothing and this trade starts happening, White will just blow things open, and this king will actually be the weaker king because of all the light squares that were exposed long ago.
And
wow,
we see rook h6 played. So this is what I was a little bit afraid of for Black, because there's no good follow-up after this threat. Okay, I guess queen h4 is a little bit scary, but it's a very easy threat to take care of. It seems like he's going for one-move tricks, but if Hutch sees them, then he's much better long-term.
Yeah, but it's a practical try. You got to give Yasuo credit. When you're the underdog, right? If you go for a mating attack, sometimes that can scare the opponent, because the truth is Black has nothing here. You're totally right. If White plays f3 and Black goes for this, White could even just take the knight, and this is a check, but that might end up being all it is. You're down a piece.
That's true.
But does Hutch have the guts to go for this, right? This is kind of scary to let your opponent get an attack like that, and I think that's what... that
Hutch wasn't a good move, because now he's going to let Yasuo take back with a tempo. I bet he's going to play queen h4 here. I think he's just going in for the kill.
Yeah, he's got to. Unfortunately, for Yasuo, it could probably just be stopped in one move, and what do you got? Nothing.
Right. And then he's going to realize that he hasn't developed any of his queenside bishops, queenside pieces, the rook, the knight, the bishop. And once his attack is stopped, he's behind in development and he has less control in the center because of the knight on e5.
Last time I neglected development this bad, my abusive Russian alcoholic chess coach came up and just threw all the pieces on the board and said, "You don't need them." I'm still in therapy.
Danny, we can talk about this after. If you need a friend, you let me know.
I'm still in therapy. Okay, let's listen into Yassuo. Get me off cam here.
Mate in 1. So this is really dangerous area for him. If he blunders this somehow, he might lose the game. Okay, see, he just caught it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my knight up. If trades, I take with my bishop, I think, so I can get my bishop activated. Okay, now he's attacking my rook. I can move my rook here to this file. Take on the g file now. Do I want to take on the g file or do I want to go here? He'll probably just move pawn up, so it's not going to be good for me. Let's...
I don't know about you, Alexandra. I suddenly have the desire to refinance my mortgage while drinking an energy drink.
Because I'm attacking and I'm attacking.
Is the Mountain Dew doing it for you?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I could go for like a code red, maybe a game fuel.
Then I can get my
I don't know why.
back.
Just suddenly in my head that I might want to do that, and I'm thinking that
I think I'm playing a pretty good game so far. Or like, I'm not playing too poorly, actually. Rather,
he's playing good moves.
Obviously, as you guys can see, he's much higher rated than me. Like, he has a lot more experience with chess than I do. I need to get this piece out there. Do I go here? But that's just going to give him an opportunity to like waste my move. So I don't really like that too much, but I have no other way to move that piece, and then I have no way to develop this, and then that means I have no way to develop my rook. So I think it's actually just worth to go here and look for a trade, because if he trades, then I just take with rook. It's probably worth for me. I could also look to take pawn, and then if he ever takes back, but he'll probably take back with bishop.
Talk super fast.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do I want to do here?
I know you're thinking that's the pot calling the kettle black, but you know.
Should I just go back here? What does he have? I don't see any real threats he has. He'll most likely go back here, and then I can take this. Or he'll just perma stay there. I think he might just stay there.
Perma stay. Can I write that down to use with my kids? Perma stay. Is
Maybe
that
moving pawn up is good, because if he takes, then I
can
can take queen. But I don't really see what that does for me.
I mean, I'm trying to keep up with both of you, Danny. He's just thinking so fast.
I could use some perma stay.
Guys, I want to look at chat to see the PogChamps. I'm once again just going to say don't cheat, please.
Do we have him muted now?
I'm reiterating. I haven't taken anything from chat.
We still have his audio on. I think we're going to mute him. Let's mute him and talk a little bit about what just happened, because he's gone for the attack here, but it looks like Hutch has defended really well, right? Didn't blink an eye.
Yeah, and one thing he was saying is Hutch is the more experienced player. So Yasuo understood that he had to develop his pieces. He saw that his rook was under attack, but it seems like he's just getting slowly outplayed here. Not making any specific mistakes, but just slightly worse moves than his opponent.
Agreed. And one of the risks of Black's position, when you go all in with an idea like this, you bring your rook over to a very committed side of the board. Rooks do much better when they're connected, when they're talking, and they're long-range, powerful pieces, so you can do a lot when that's the case. But now Black's piece is being disconnected. You start spying. F takes e4, and you blow open the cannon here. If XQC were here, he'd call it like I don't know. I don't know what he'd call it.
It's hard to understand XQC's level of brilliance, Danny. So just don't worry about it. Don't try.
But by the way, Bishop E8 just created that possibility. He took Yasuo might be about to blunder mate.
Uh-oh, if he moves his knight, don't take with the knight, Yasuo. He's got to take with the pawn here.
But not only that, Alexandra, if he takes with the queen, hashtag Botez Gambit.
A good Botez Gambit. That's what I like to see.
Queen E4. Chat, you can't take the queen. It's mate and bake.
He sees it, though. He sees it. I'm telling you, Yasuo is sharp with the tactics. He's got arrows on F8. He knows what's happening.
I think he knows what's happening, but it might be too late, right? Hutch spotted it instantly, so heads-up play to recognize the rook undoing its own defense of F8 to immediately take and open up the F file.
If he sees bishop G6, I'm gifting him 5 subs, chat. You heard it here. If he plays bishop g6, he's pinned.
Oh! Open up the wallet. Go do it right
5
now.
subs, baby.
Oh, that was awesome. By the way, he's still losing, but great job with the 5 subs, though.
All right, I know. I'm gonna go do it now. I'm impressed.
That was awesome. That was awesome. The 5 sub. That's why I don't say things like that. But we'll wait for the sub gift.
Yep, I sent them in.
That's awesome.
A promise
They're
made
rolling
is a
in
promise
over his
kept.
board.
Nicely done, Mo.
There they are. They're rolling in over the board there. Real
No,
killer.
but that was
Hellhound.
such an impressive move to see because it defends the f8 square.
And
It
pin the
pins the
pawn.
pawn and it develops a piece. It's a triple whammy. I mean, he deserves 5 for that.
I'm sure his chat will tell him that they were gifted by you. That was pretty awesome. Way to go. Good call. All right. Well, like I said, unfortunately, it's still trouble for black. But you're right. It was a huge move. The rook defends the checkmate. The knight is suddenly free for business again. So after Yassuo takes, he should probably take with the pawn. And then you could even put the knight back on e4 and black's in okay shape here.
Yeah, and the time situation is pretty close also. I've seen Yasuo play under time pressure, and he's quite fast because he mostly just plays 5 minutes. What have you seen with Hutch?
Okay. Yeah, Hutch is down on time. And that's historically been one of Hutch's problems, by the way, back when I was Hutch's adopted chess coach. He sometimes overthinks things and gets himself under time pressure. So Queen d2 is a good move and a quick one. It's a double defense of b4 and e3 and actually opens up the idea of playing e4 to kick the knight. Again, poke the pony.
Poke the pony. I didn't think I'd hear that sentence once in my life, and now I've heard it twice in 2 hours. Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Rook e8. So he's defending the pawn. I mean, a little bit of overprotection there, but he didn't really have he must have missed that threat. Yeah.
Hutch. That's why Hutch is 1450. That's why he's one of the favorites to maybe win this whole event. And after this victory, will pretty much clinch first in his bracket, in his quad.
Yeah. I guess like queen g3 is kind of a sneaky move, so he can at least take back with his queen. He'll only be down in exchange though, the position is closed, so he still has chances, but he really doesn't want to ruin his pawn structure here.
So you're saying there's a chance, Lloyd Christmas?
Yes.
There's a chance.
Lloyd Christmas?
It's a Dumb and Dumber reference.
Oh, I remember that. No, I do know that reference. That was very.
Is this where you're like, oh, Danny,
funny.
you're so old?
No. I thought that was the reference you were making also. I just didn't remember that was the lady's name.
Yeah. Well, it's Jim Carrey's name.
Oh.
It's a long story.
I know it was when the girl told him there's a very small chance.
The lady's name is.
He saw it.
The lady's name is Mary Swanson.
Mary Swanson.
But it's actually not.
That movie 10 times.
Never mind. All right. By the way, Yasuo finds your idea. It was a strong one. And you're right. He's definitely made this tough. And given the ensuing time scramble, they say where there's a knight, there's a way. When you have time pressure, if you have a knight, it's one of the trickiest. No one's ever said that? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think I haven't heard it as a rhyme, but you're the Dr. Seuss of chess, so I understand why you wrapped it up for us like that. But it's true. Forks are harder to see in time pressure.
Yeah, and the knights are just pesky. Jokes aside, they really, geometrically, they move differently, and so there are a lot of blunders that happen with knights under time pressure, and it's
right,
not a
because
joke.
they move the most differently from any other piece, so it does make sense. I don't like his e5 decision. If he's down material, he should try to keep the position as close as possible.
Right. Well, especially because it's fool's gold. You play e5 and you're bluffing. If white takes the pawn, you can't actually take back.
Right, because it's checkmate. Oh, but Hutch missed it. Still, he has this nice move that is pinning the knight.
Problem with that is, what's the point? You take back, and I'm actually liking Yasuo's chances now. You know what? This is a good lesson in prophylaxis, which is defensive mindedness for those watching. Just play a move like h6 here if you're Yasuo. Like free some space for the king not to get checkmated. A move like h6 frees your rook off of the back rank, and now this is just a check. It can go a very, very long way.
I like that move a lot.
Sorry,
The
what?
thing is, I like h6 a lot. It's a move. Oh no, maiden 2. Why, Yasuo?
Oh,
Why?
Did you
Can
see
I
Hutch
take back
pause
my
with the
subs? Can I take back my
Oh, you
subs?
did you see Hutch pause with the beer?
No, no, I didn't.
That was
I was
like a
too
really great.
devastated.
Let's
I
listen in.
blundered and I played that game poorly. I played that really poorly. Damn, that sucks. I tried, guys. Unlucky. I made like 2 or 3 big blunders that game. I tried my hardest though. Hey.
Hey, we've all blamed a misclick, buddy. We've all been there.
Yes, the El Magneto strategy once again. The misclick.
The misclick. Nothing like
Oh.
claiming there's a mouse slip.
It's either the mouse slip or chat's fault. That's how you play chess on Twitch. Nobody ever loses because they're bad, ever.
Right. No, it's true. Anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about until King H8 happened. I do find it kind of ironic that I think the last chess move we were highlighting is free the back rank. Free the back rank for the king. Prophylaxis goes a long way when you go out of your way to prevent blunders. You make a future defensive move. Instead, he created the net himself by putting the king on h8. And this is what they call a back rank checkmate. The king is trapped by his own pieces on the back rank.
Well, one good thing he did there was illustrate your points so clearly, Danny. Now more people are going to want to listen to your coaching.
We'll be right back. And we are back here now, joined by both players, which is pretty awesome. First time today, we have Yassuo and Hutch with us now. First, Hutch, congratulations on the win there, taking the lead, and Yassuo, great game here.
Thank you. Yeah, good game to you, Yassuo.
Yeah, thank you. No, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun, honestly. Pretty good game overall. Honestly, all the moves you made, expected, studied it, no problem. But just couldn't capitalize hard enough.
Yeah, I heard you got tips on the Queen's Gambit from Hikaru.
Yeah, Hikaru gave me some tips early in the morning because I just, I ran to his chat. And then actually I saw Levi Gotham Chess in the chat and I whispered him, I was like, yo, can you give me some tips on what to do against this opening? Like, what do you think is the most solid play? Because I think overall, if I'm giving you your comfort, since you're white piece, you kind of get to decide what goes on. Like personally, I'm more comfortable with the white pieces. So when I play black, I usually just insta push D4, I believe. Like I push my king's pawn. But he told me, I think the Stonewall, I think it's called, is like a pretty good, like solid defense, and like it'll make you a little more uncomfortable. And I honestly liked it. I liked the positioning I was in. I just,
is that the F5 push? Is that what makes it a Stonewall? Okay.
Yeah, it's like when all my pawns are connected in like a little thingy.
Yeah, at that point
Sorry,
go ahead. Well, I was gonna say at that point I figured I would just try to keep your light squared bishop as pinned as possible and try to also with your knight back there. Your knight was sort of trapped there for a while.
Yeah, I was looking for ideas to get my knight out. It was just or my bishop out. I actually even talked to Gotham Chess about it before, and he said it was like perfectly fine. It obviously takes more moves to develop it onto the king side. And I actually misclicked it. I think I pushed it too early. I don't think it really mattered, honestly, too much. But I forgot when I even misclicked it, honestly. But I tried getting it out there. Just took like 17 moves, unfortunately.
Well, what were you gonna say, Danny?
I was gonna say that you guys both actually had very solid approaches just from the Dutch. For Hutch, you not even knowing that it really was the Dutch, and I think that the critical moment. Well, I want to ask you, Yassuo, when you played the move B5, was this kind of a tip you were given to sort of try to close down the queen side so that you could focus on your attack over here on the king side?
I think the reason I pushed that was because I realized. Let me think. Why did I push that? I don't remember. Let me think. No. Okay. Wait. Okay. What I was trying to do is I was trying to push that, and then I was trying to get my bishop out onto the A file to attack his light squared bishop because I realized mine is a lot less active than his. So I was like, okay, I want to somehow trade it. And I was looking to push the pawn one more move, both to attack the knight and then to defend the bishop. And then he just pushed his pawn and then I couldn't, that just closed off.
Hutch said, no, thank you. Did you shake your finger, Hutch, when you played B4 to the idea? Did you go, no, thank you?
No, I just said, lock it up. We're just going to lock this thing up. I'm going to keep that light squared bishop over there in the corner. And yeah, I figured it was going to be kind of a slow positional game at this point. That's usually the case.
So did you get surprised at all when he went for the quick rook lift? It seemed that you were taking some time there to make sure you weren't in trouble.
No, No, I wasn't like well. As soon as he pushed it to f6, I figured that's where he was heading was the H file. But I just sort of looked at the board and yeah, I was just making sure that I wasn't in too much trouble because he needed a few more pieces in order for that to be like a real threat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, when I put it on the H file, I think just taking that file and I realized he couldn't really do much to my rook unless he moved his knight 2 pieces. And my actual plan was to move my queen onto, I think that's C7 to attack the knight and then also look to connect to the rook to look for a mate somehow. And then I was
Yeah.
going to move the knight over one piece, like move the knight to D7 to push the knight away and then also
Yeah.
just give myself like a real nice line. But I think you respond to that by I forgot what you did honestly, but you something.
Yeah,
to
he
stop
played
it.
H3. He kind of spied the idea.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That kind of just ruined it. But I don't know. I think at that point, like I was getting my rook involved into the game, and then I was trying to clearly like 3 of my pieces are super undeveloped right now. He's like ahead in development here, but that's where I was trying to like move my bishop. Like it's like a little diagonal. I have to like swing it all across, and like somehow it looked like it was just gonna take me like so many moves, so I didn't even want to do it there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you guys have pretty polite chess coaches. My old Russian abusive alcoholic chess coach would just throw all of these pieces off the board because you weren't using them. That's what he would do. So
That's pretty, you know.
Well,
none of our
thing
coaches will do that to you. Don't worry.
It's the same thing happened in my game. My first game, I didn't move my light square
Mhm.
bishop for 30 moves. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned from that game. I'm like, okay, well, that sucked. So let me see if I can do it to that guy.
Well,
That game
really,
certainly
Hutch,
made us nervous. Sorry, go ahead, Danny.
No, I was going to say you guys both played super well. I mean, this was a good game all around. And then when this F3 move was played, it was clear you had kind of figured out the right idea to sort of pry open the light squares. Often in these Dutches, Black's biggest strength could become their biggest weakness if you can just start opening it up because all of these squares are just like secretly waiting to be exposed,
Yeah.
right? So F3 was a very good move to try to start doing that.
And I pushed that with the doubling the rooks up in mind because I figured that they were going to be really powerful if that light squared bishop was going to stay stuck on that C8 square.
Yep. So then 95. I mean, Yassuo, when you lost the pawn here, you recovered very well. This was the famous Alexandra says because you blundered the pawn, right? Obviously, you can't take with the knight because of mate, and if the pawn takes, Hutch could take with the queen, and your knight is pinned. But she said, if he finds bishop g6, I'm gifting him 5 subs, and you played it right after that.
Yeah, that was a really good move. That
Yeah.
that threw me off. I didn't for that.
That's like when I blundered the pawn and I was just trying to like somehow figure out how to, recover it. And that's actually when I finally got my light squared. It took me like 13 moves, like I said, to get it out there. Finally got it out there, finally did something, and then I ended up blundering my rook right after, and then it was like, all right, well, me.
You don't play like your rating. You not in this game. You played really, really well, actually.
Yeah, I think
sure.
the problem is I play chess while I play League. So most of the time I have to like resign my chess games or lose on time because my League game starts. So I think I'm like closer to 1,000, but yeah, definitely a tough game still.
Yeah,
But
it seemed like Hutch had the slight experience advantage here, but you didn't make any blunders, so it was really slow play where he was just making slightly better move by better move. Okay, until your checkmate in the end. Did you mouse slip or what happened when you played King H8?
Okay, so I moved King H8 in mind to like unpin my my knight because I was looking for some type of idea. I was planning on moving my knight, I think, to C3 to somehow attack the rook and like undouble the rooks. I mean, or they're doubled up, whatever. And I should have obviously pushed the pawn first. I just forgot that I was under threat of mate. The reason I forgot is because I was like, oh, my rook's defending and my king's defending, and once I move my king, I lose one of the defenders, and it's just GG.
Right.
Did you guys see anything that you would have done differently from the whites' point of view here?
I think instead of Queen A2, we thought maybe you're going to take that pawn on E4. That may have been a little bit better, but it was just a slight difference.
His rook is stuck to the back rank, so in some ways you could have taken. I think since you asked, I would say I think the only thing you could have done earlier, if I'm going all the way back, was actually here when you were actually way ahead in the initiative here, and I don't think you realized how strong your position was if you just start like playing A4 and B5 and busting open everything on this side of the board. Other than that, dude, I mean,
I
you
looked
played.
at that. I was looking at that. That was one of my
Yeah.
candidate moves, but I don't remember what I decided on instead.
like if you start opening this thing up, right, and they take, and you can just like continue to bring pieces and push b5. A lot of times, the way to take advantage of this is to just overwhelm the queen side with all of your pieces. But what you did was very solid, and ultimately, the fact that you eventually played f3 was a really key thing to kind of remember for the future in these lines, to not let black's light squares become a stranglehold. So me and Hutch just went old school, like old times when we used to do chess streams together. But Yassuo, you just said to talk about your League of Legends streams, right? You play chess in the middle of your stream sometimes, right? And that may be why your Chess.com rating is so low. We were listening in on you a lot, dude, and there was no way you're an 800 rated chess player.
No,
like you are much better than that. So maybe it's time to stop resigning the chess games and start resigning the league games and just play chess. What you think?
Well, we'll look into that. You know, the league games are a little harder, so I have to focus a little more on those for sure. But I tried playing both at the same time. Like, honestly, initially, I started I was like, oh, I don't want to resign this game. I need to focus. So I'd play the chess game while I'm in the league game. And then turns out I couldn't do that. So I'd end up losing both games at the same time. I was like, all right, it's not worth it. I have to sacrifice one. But no, thank you for the compliment. Yeah. I was wondering, what do you guys think where do you think I really kind of threw? Obviously, I threw the game when I, pinned both my rooks together when he bishop pinned or whatever. But besides that, what do you guys think that I should have done better, really? Maybe just developing my pieces more early on?
Yeah, I think when you went for the rook lift, it was a little bit short-sighted. So it seems like a good idea because you have a direct threat. But since white can really block it away, it would have been better if you just continued trying to develop your pieces.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's a really hard thing to not want to go for because you see the potential of it, right? And when you see the potential of it, like it becomes enticing. But unless there's something concrete, you're kind of seeing ghosts a little bit. Because like Hutch said, right, he was just double checking that he wasn't getting mated, and once he did, how many moves are you from a real threat? It's like 1, 2. Then you got to bring the queen over. Then you have your whole idea. It's too much to really think you're going to get anything. Probably would have been better to, start the bishop maneuver now. Maybe bring the bishop around, or even play knight to d7. To try to prevent Hutch from playing knight e5, so that you can go back to this idea. I think rook f6 was just a little bit too ambitious, but otherwise you played very well.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
This has been great. I don't even know what you guys feel about it. This whole chess thing right here between us, this is working. This is working here, right? What do you think?
Yeah,
I'm enjoying the chess. I'm
Yeah.
glad it came into the meta on Twitch. Like, I've always watched it. I never played chess really ever, but I enjoy watching it. It's
Me and you both. I don't like it. I don't know how I got here.
I was always overly concerned when you would ask me to do like chess.com collaborations and stuff, because I thought most of your audience would probably not want to hear chess tips from like a 1500 rated player, 1400 rated player. But then in this tournament, it's a little bit different. Now I feel like there's a ton of pressure on me because there's actually an expectation to perform well. So I was actually, I had so much anxiety.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because for Yassuo, just so you know, so Hutch and I were doing chess streams like 5-6 years ago, right? And I actually asked him to start doing a show where he would just do a show and talk to, like, see, now you could have been coaching a lot of chess people, Hutch, and you didn't take me up on that.
I mean, I give like beginners tips, but that's all I'm qualified to give.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been great. I don't have any other questions. Alexandra, any parting words for these guys before we let them go?
I think you guys were the matchup I was most excited for today because Hutch is such a heavy favorite, but Yasuo has been improving so quickly. So I was having so much fun watching. You guys both played well, and good luck in the future tournament.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya. I agree. It was a matchup we were looking forward to, and it didn't really disappoint. Hutch played well. So did Yasuo, and honestly, that guy's. If you had to start picking someone early who might win the consolation bracket, I don't know if Yasuo is going to have it to make it to the next round, but that guy's clearly not 800. Talk about a sleeper, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I even wonder, all right, I shouldn't say this, but too late. In terms of strategy, if he goes for the consolation bracket, he has pretty good chances to win it all, versus if he tries to go to the championship bracket and then he has to face like Void Boy and Hutch, and who else is going to be in there? Box.
Well, XQC obviously is the guy who has a chance to pass Yasuo, right? He's got to win that next game. His next matchup versus Moist Critical. Just going to say it like that. Is it Critical? I put the wrong emphasis on the right syllable. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about the schedule. Alexandra, who's coming up tomorrow?
All right, let's take a look here. So we are on the 8th, Danny. That's a reminder for you, just because I know dates have been confusing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
No, so tomorrow we're gonna have Papa Plata versus Ludwig. That's one that is gonna be very close in rating. I'm really looking forward to it. Ludwig has been a riot in the interviews. We also have XQC versus Moist Critical. So that is
Yep.
some pretty big names both on Twitch and on YouTube. What a clash there. I just
Yeah,
know
that'll
that
probably be the
that
matchup that
interview
pushes.
will be a little scary after.
Yeah. We've had a ton of fun today. Remind everybody to hit that follow button. If somehow you're just tuning into chess on Twitch, it is a real thing. It does exist and is not going anywhere for a while. So please hit that follow button. You can also follow us on youtube.com/chess and pretty much anywhere /chess exists. So make sure you give that a follow. And Alexander and I we'll be back. We've got lots going on the channel. We also have the Speed Chess Championship Grand Prix. That's foreign language to maybe some people just tuning into chess, but huge event we're running here on Chess.com. So if you're in for some chess early on tomorrow, you can check that out as well. Alexandra, I think it's time we let people go party like rock stars, or maybe not a rock star, maybe a Mountain Dew G Fuel.
What a way to end. Thanks, Danny. It's been fun doing commentary with you. Chat, hopefully we'll see you back tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.